Welcome to another movie plot and enjoy the memories. It begins with a meteorite breaking up above Earth and its content landing in the quiet town of Wheelsey. Nearby is Officer Wally, who clocks a bird doing 27 an hour, but the sheriff Pardy doesn't find it interesting and returns to his nap. It's a town of hunters where the foul-mouthed Mayor MacReady holds a kickoff party every year for the season that the whole community attends. The school teacher Starla is obsessed over by all of her male students, while her co-worker Hank's run off by her controlling car salesman husband Grant. She's Pardy's childhood crush, who he doesn't understand why she would marry a man like Grant, but Deputy Margaret says that it's simply because he's rich. That night, while the deprived Grant's trying to get it in, his wife says that she's not in the mood, so he decides to go for a walk to cool off. He goes drinking at the local bar where the lonely Brenda says she always liked him and accompanies him into the woods to begin fooling around. Grant pulls away as he begins to regret his behavior when noticing the meteorite from last night and the parasitic extraterrestrial that climbed out of it. Known as the Long One, it fires a dart into Grant's stomach and climbs up into his brain, transforming him into the host vessel for the alien's consciousness. He wanders off, leaving Brenda confused, and having absorbed some of Grant's memories, he returns home to begin eating all of the meat in the fridge. He constructs a nest in the basement out of leaves, and when Starla wakes up in the morning, he finds her now in the mood, but he hardly recognizes her. They still get it on, and while telling her co-worker Janine about how passion-filled her morning was, Grant's shown to be more attracted to beef than anything. He purchases a large haul of beef from the butcher's, but when he gets home he still ends up eating the neighbor's dog and hiding his meat in the basement. His wife's kept out by a padlock on the door, and when asked about it he just deflects by telling her to get ready to go out. He's begun developing a rash and plans to attack the showering Starla, but the husband's side of him resists the worm's control and runs away. He visits Brenda instead, who thinks that he's just there to finish what they started the other night, but Grant produces tentacles from his stomach and attacks her. They're used to impregnate Brenda with his alien offspring, then he kidnaps her and takes bags of meat to an abandoned barn to feed. Meanwhile, Starla's left alone at the bar where Grant planned to meet her at, but spends the night enjoying being comforted by the patron Pardy instead. She returns home later to find Grant slowly transforming into the alien, but he says that it's just an allergic reaction that a doctor's already given him something for. She quickly learns this is a lie from his MD, and with the pets disappearing around town, Starla decides to break into the basement to see what her husband's been hiding. Inside's not just the missing dog but an entire room filled with animal carcasses, so she attempts to call the police about Grant. He returns home looking worse than ever and says that he tried to control himself, but the creature's too powerful and attempts to impregnate Starla like Brenda. The police were already staking out the house due to the missing Brenda's connection to Grant, and allow the bendy arm host to escape as they're in complete shock. 3 days later, and the mayor's still arguing that maybe he's just suffering from Lyme disease, but the sheriff's not buying it and has worked out where the Squid Man will strike next. Along with Officer Trevor, they load up on weapons, but Starla convinces them to capture her husband alive, as they'll need to anyway to find Brenda's location. She joins them at the property across from the home of the rebellious teenager Kylie, whose hick family mocks her for not being more like them. The police, the mayor, Starla, and 2 armed farmers Dwight and Charlie stake out the field that should be the next place Grant passes through on his feeding frenzy. He's completely transformed into an unrecognizable monster who Starla breaks away from the group to try to talk some sense into as his wife. It might have worked until Charlie flanks the Long One to threaten it and gets himself sliced down the center by an unexpectedly long tentacle. The host then flees into the forest where the hunters follow and soon come across the isolated barn containing Brenda. She's now a massively obese sphere of flesh called the womb, as hundreds of baby alien slugs grow inside her and demand constant food. Her body starts rumbling when Brenda suddenly explodes, releasing all of the alien slugs that slither down the throats of everyone who doesn't cover their mouth quick enough. We lose everybody except for Maggie, Starla, Pardy, and MacReady, while the slugs begin to enter the townspeople's homes nearest to the outbreak. The first is Kylie's, who's in the middle of having a bath when a slug slithers into her tub, but she manages to see it just in time to react. It still climbs up her back and down her throat, partially bonding her with the hive mind and showing Kylie visions of the Long One absorbing all life from planets it visits into a singular biomass. She fights it off and kills the space worm with her curling iron before trying to save her mother, but she's already been lost. Her little sisters are the same, as there's hundreds of them entering their bedroom, so Kylie climbs out the window and leaps to the ground to escape. She locks herself inside her father's truck when suddenly the whole family come outside as puppets of the hive mind and try to convince her to unlock the doors. Meanwhile, as they take the slug-infested bodies of their dead friends outside, they begin to sit up as they've become more of Grant's zombie drones. He speaks through the mouths of anyone infected with the worm and begs Starla to come back to be with him again. She rejects his charming offer by blowing off Wally's head as the zombie Trevor spits an acidic bile in Margaret's face, killing her. MacReady and Starla are the only ones who survive, as Pardy had left earlier to get the truck when coming across Kylie needing police protection. Her family are slow, but another zombie knocks Pardy down from behind, so he blows off the man's toes before having his gun slapped from his hands. Dodging slug spit, Kylie and Pardy retreat to the patrol car parked out front and lock themselves inside to radio for backup. Just then he sees Starla being chased by the horde, who mostly seem disinterested in the mayor until Trevor tries to kill him but is run over by the sheriff. Starla returns with a fence post to the throat to finish him off, and the 4 survivors leave in the car with the horde shouting her name in pursuit. Everyone in town's been eaten or absorbed into Grant's hive mind except for a receptionist at the police station named Shelby. She tells Pardy that everything is okay, but then gets swarmed by the slugs, who instantly use her to send the townspeople to attack the survivors' vehicle. When Pardy wakes up from their crash, he manages to save Kylie, but MacReady and Starla are captured by the zombies and taken to Grant's secret hideaway. The long one impregnates the mayor like Brenda and keeps him in the basement with more starving townspeople who are forced to eat the raw meat. Sheriff leaves Kylie alone outside while he sneaks into the police station and tries call for aid, but the radios are down and the armory's empty. He comes across an infected deer who charges Pardy and tries to eat him, but is killed by Kylie with a single swing of a fire extinguisher. They do find one grenade and figure that the acid-spitting zombies carrying their food source will eventually lead them to Grant's hiding place. Starla's dressed up by the drones, and when she wakes up hides a sharp-handled mirror in her underwear that she finds for protection. She's called down to the living room by Grant, who's now a giant tentacled amalgamation of townspeople who are still arriving to meld into the biomass from the back end. Pardy and Kylie, with a gun given to her by the sheriff, see the situation through a window and shoot their way into the house to rescue Starla. She's about to be assimilated just like everybody else, but manages to charm the monster by calling him Grant and telling him that they can still be together. As they get close to each other, she pulls the mirror and stabs Grant in the chest, getting her knocked across the room by a tentacle. Pardy enters and happily obliges with MacReady's request to put him out of his misery before trying to kill the monster with his grenade. A tentacle knocks him through the window and completely wastes their only explosive as it falls into the pool and detonates. The monster sends out 2 more tentacles to stab Pardy, but only one is lodged in his abdomen while the sheriff catches the other. Kylie's seemingly crushed by a couch tossed by Grant, who continues to punish Starla for betraying him by slapping her around the living room. Before his guts are sucked out, Pardy attaches the other tentacle to a propane tank, filling Grant's stomach with gas as it drags his meal back inside the house. He shouts for Starla to pick up his gun, and she tears up as she shoots the monster in the stomach, causing Grant and his entire bio-creation to explode. All of the infected converging on the house collapse as the worms in their brains are cut off from the hive mind and their host bodies die. Starla survived the invasion along with Kylie, who was just knocked unconscious by the couch, and Sheriff Pardy, who needed both of the tentacles stuck in him to get all wormy. The 3 survivors leave the house to a splattering of dead townspeople and start to search for a hospital to begin recovering. In a post-credits scene, a curious cat approaches what remains of Grant's brain matter, getting it infected by the still living long one inside. And the movie ends.